just me and my guitar.
Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back here from Mark's Aquatics. Today I'm going to show you how I make up a bit of shrimp food for my shrimps and how I do it and the ingredients that I'm using for this little batch which we're going to be using now. We've got some mussels in there, broccoli, and we got some carrots as well. I've just microwaved these carrots in there and the broccoli as well. There's a couple of other bits there which I did on the last run. I made some just before, but I thought I'd do a little bit more just so I've got plenty now for the rest of the for a couple of months. And if you guys wanted to replicate this, you could. Right, what I've got here in this other little bowl. Whoa, look at them bloodworms. We love the bloodworms, but we don't want the blood that's in them, because that is going to pollute our tanks. Now this is really, it's a fine line here with what you've got to watch is obviously when you're using proteins like the mussels and the bloodworms, okay, you've got to really watch out that you're not going to pollute your tanks up. So you're not, this is a very small sort of a treat food in between the staple of the leaves and all the other stuff that you use and the barks and, you know, from your wood and where they would pick the biofilm from naturally. These are like little treat foods really. Now what I do with this, I've got one of these little things which I use only for the bloodworm, and I put them in there and then I'll run them under the tap until you run all of the juice out of here. You see, we don't want any of that in there. All we want is just the actual larvae itself. Like you can see the ones that have stuck on the top around here. We just want those. We don't want any of the blood because that's just going to pollute our water straight away. Right, now we've got to get those out of the way. Get the old sieve out wherever that's gone. Right guys, what I've got now, I've just drained all the vegetables there, the old carrots and the broccoli. Now what I want to do is put some tissue out like that, and the bloodworms as well, which are in there now. If you look, if you can see that now, they've all been gone. All the ice is gone. All that horrible bloody coloured water's gone. We've just got the larvae left now as well, so we can leave that on there, and that will soak in through the. I'll get a few more towels here. Take most of it away. Now what I've got here is an old blender cup, which I picked up off eBay, which runs off my and a blade. I got a spare blade and a spare one of the old zipper up blades, and this is obviously only used for this little job. Otherwise the wife would kick me out. She would. If she found out, I'd be kicked out for sure. So we're going to put them on there as well now. Just want most of the moisture. I don't want all of it out. You just want to, because you're going to have a little bit to blend as well. So that'll do for those. We can chuck them in there as well. I always do this when the wife's out, for obvious reasons. She'd be after me. And then we'll put the we'll put all this stuff in as well. Some cooking show, isn't it, eh? I'm glad I'm not coming home to dinner tonight. If this was what I was going to be served. My God. Right, that's all cleaned up there. Now what I'll do is I'll give it a quick whiz up in the old blender. Alright guys, there you go. That looks appetising, doesn't it? Right, we've got a right sludge in there now, but that's everything now is mixed up. So now what we've got to do is put that there. You've got to keep this whizzing around. You might have to add just a little bit of tank water. Okay? If you find it sticks, you want it to just move so it just hits the blades and whizzes it up into that fine paste. And now what we've got to do is get the cling film out. Put the cling film out like that and just roll it off the end. And now we've got to get a little tool, again, which is only used for this job. Okay, then we'll get the old sludge out. Look at that. Now your shrimp are going to love this stuff. Because you've got a really good mixture of proteins in there, you've got all your fibres, you've got everything that that they need. And you can feed them obviously anything else you want. I mean, some people, they just like to feed normal things that you can buy, which is fair enough. Some people don't want to go to all this hassle of making things. But you guys know what I'm like, I love making stuff, so it's just up my street, this is. And what we want to make is just a little thin sheet, because you're not going to use a lot of this. The reason why I do it like this, some of the bigger tanks, I used to make all my marine food like this as well, with all the different noris and all that kind of stuff. And wrecking the place now, look. And just flatten that out. Cut that off of there like that, and then just fold it up like that, like that, and then fold it up like that, guys. All right, and you end up with that. Now it's not going to stay in here. And you can slowly, you can just squeeze it out again if you like. Alright guys, there you go, it's out the fridge now. Nice and solid. So what we do now is we just unfold it. And it will just crumble it up, and it will crumble up into lots of little bits. So we can get our just grab it all quick and chuck it in the your pot. There you go guys, it's all done, all out, and that's what it looks like. I think what we should do now is go and chuck some in the tanks and see how the shrimp react to it, yeah? And as you can see, they're onto it already. Right, I'm just going to pause you a minute so I can dry my hands off, and then we'll set you up, okay? There you go guys, just chucked a bit in the crystal black and F1 tank, and then migrating towards it quite quickly. Like I say, once that centrale goes up in the water, as you all know, then they'll be onto it in no time at all. And pan around here as well, we've got a nice little convoy heading towards this piece. Very cheap to make, really good for your shrimp protein wise, fibre wise, and one of those foods you don't want to feed too much of, because it's high in protein, and you've got to think of your water quality at all times with shrimp. So always bear that in mind. You know, you get the staple food, your almond leaves, and when they're taking the biofilm off the wood or off the glass or off the substrate, and these are just little supplementary feeds, but there's enough there which I've made there probably to last me a good 6 months, I'd say, probably even longer than that. And it's really good for them and they love it. But as you know, you don't feed shrimps too much. But you've got to think about where they're from, or before they were hybridized and everything else. The wild shrimps, anything that falls into a pool where they are, or a little stream where they are, they're going to be straight onto it, because they're scavengers, and they will try any food, anything they come across. They'll have a few pulls off it, and if they enjoy it, they'll tuck into it. But if they don't, they'll leave it alone. And they're a pretty good judge of what's good and what's bad. I know the tank's a little bit glary, guys, but you can see there's just like a little migration now, all heading towards it from all over the place. It's amazing how many shrimp are in this system now. It really is. I've taken all the crystal reds out, as you saw, and put them in the other tank here. But they just seem to be everywhere. Yeah, like I said in the last video, all the old moss hides. The shrimp run there, that needs another cut already. Already that's growing. These little guys are closing in. As does that hide there as well. They all need a trim back again. We'll get onto that one of these weekends. There's no rush to do it. I'll put some in the yellow Sakura tank as well, so we'll pop in there now and we'll have a quick look at them. Yep, they're a fan as well. You can see all the little baby endlers around here as the little bits float up. They're taking all the bits out of the water column as well, which is good for them, because they like their greens as well as a bit of protein. But you can see they really are tucking into that nicely. You can see it's sort of a fibrous makeup. When it absorbs the water again, you can see how easy it is, how it breaks up when they get into it and start pulling it apart. Very soft. It's very easy for them to pull apart. In their little bamboo dishes there. Very easy to make those, guys. If you want to make one, as a video, it's pretty obvious how you make them. You just cut a piece of bamboo up. But go and check it out if you're unsure. You've got to cut it in between the knots, that's the only thing, because you've got the little knot which waterproofs the next section. But go and check that out if you want to make one of those. But yeah, they're loving it. They're getting right into that now. You can see it all coming out and drifting around. Hello, how did that little crystal black get in there? He must have come in on one of those plants, or on a piece of moss that I made one of the trees with. And that moss was out of the water for some time, and I never noticed him in there. Oh well, he's alright. He's safe and feeding away. Look, I'll have to get him out and put him in the other tank, I think. He's enjoying himself in there. Give it another 10 minutes and that bowl was going to be full. Alright guys, there are plenty of them in there now. They seem to be enjoying themselves, so we'll pop back into the other room, into the shrimp room, and we'll see how the other guys are getting on with theirs. Yeah, they all seem to be enjoying themselves. If you feed this stuff, it's really like particulate. And if you only have to put the smallest bit in, you've got to really gauge the size of your aquarium that you'll be keeping your shrimp in, and obviously for the amount that you want to put in. Like I said, because it's protein, a lot of protein in there. If a lot of it goes in between the gravel and they can't get to it, it's going to foul your water up. So put it in a feeding dish if you've got a little petri dish, or if you fancy making one of those little bamboo hides that we made in the workshop, knock one of them up and you can put some in there. I know this lot are going to clean that up in no time at all. There isn't going to be much left in there. There's that many little shrimp in there scoffing away. We'll go this way now. Mummy over there, she's not interested, but these guys are theirs is nearly gone already. There's only a small piece of that left in the middle there, look. So it doesn't take them long to pull this stuff apart, and as you can see, lots of little particles come off and start drifting around the tank as well, which is going to feed your little shrimplets, which get pushed out the way and they can't get in amongst the action with the big boys. They'll you can see that there, look, around the feeding bowl. You see the little ones there, they're all going around picking up all the little bits that that the big ones are kicking up. and they'll clear that in no time at all. That lovely little blue shadow panda there as well. He pops like a little light bulb there amongst the rest of them. I do like those, they're one of my favourite shrimps. Anyway guys, I hope you like that little tutorial there on how to make some food for yourself. Very easy to make, very cheap to make. I've got food there now for about probably I'd say 6 months easy, and it's just basically a couple of bits of ingredients that you've got at home anyway. You can buy yourself a little pot of mussels, and the bloodworms you can buy for a blister pack. You can buy a whole packet of those, I think, for maybe 150 or something, so you can make a lot. I only used 3 cubes in what we made today, so give it a go. Anyway guys, as always, you're all stars. Over 400 subs now, 415, which I cannot believe I've got there already. And like I say, it's all down to you guys watching and pushing that little button. Loving the comments that you're sending along. Love watching all you guys' videos as well. Seen some really good stuff. And anyway, like I always say, you're all stars. Look after yourselves. Be safe, and I'll see you on the next edition of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.